Hello everyone. Welcome back to Dr. Ghoshe's Microbial Engineering and Algal Biotechnology Laboratory, Department of Biotechnology, JIS University, Kolkata. Today I'm going to deliver a talk on food safety mission, microbiological scope and aspect. First of all, I would like to acknowledge Youth Leadership Summit Mission Food Safety for providing me this great opportunity to share my expertise and time in their projects that has been occurred on 20th and 21st February 2021 at Nehru Children's Museum, Kolkata. I would like to also thank Dr. Deborshi De for his immense support to carry out my project deliberation. So let's see what is food, how you can define food. Any substances that can be consumed to obtain energy and contains nutritional as well as aesthetic values is termed as food. Food is considered as the principal requirement for all forms of a living creature to create and reproduce on the planet Earth. That's why the food is much more essential at current scenario. Food Safety and the Standard Act 2006, which defines the food safety as the assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. Also, the World Health Organization considered the global prevention, detection, and response to the threats which are being associated with the unsafe food as the public health concern. The greatest challenge to food safety is the involvement of diverse ranges of microorganisms that account for more than 200 diseases which are being caused by bacteria, the virus, protozoa, and fungal involvement. Recent time statistics have shown that nearly 420,000 people die every year due to foodborne illnesses. The case is even severe in case of children, especially those who are below 5 years, which alone counts for 40% of the total burden caused by the foodborne illness and foodborne intoxication. The foodborne illness are primarily classified as the food infection and the food intoxication. While in the first case, the living microorganisms enters the body, multiplies, and damages the host tissue damage system. The latter can be caused by the production of toxins in the food despite being their presence in the body. Then what are the basic health hazards which are being associated with the food and which determines the quality of food and also the safety of the food? There are three major hazards may contaminate food, lead to a breach of food safety. These are the physical hazards, which includes the presence of dirt, dust, metal, hair, etc. that contaminate food. Chemical hazard, which deals with the presence of pesticides, heavy metals, and allergens. And finally, the biological hazard, which mostly involves the presence of the microorganisms, mainly pathogenic microorganisms, even the explicit exotoxin. Among all of these three, the first two, like physical and chemical hazard, can be eliminated during the stages of raw material screening, processing. However, the controlling microorganisms are very difficult as food serve as a nutritional support for organism and help them to grow. As a result, most of the food spoilages are also attributed to microbial spoilages apart from the factor like self-degradation by chemical reaction, the enzymes which are by default present in those food materials. So this is the India's food regulatory system, which so-called the Swachhakadhar and Swasthakadhar, which mostly dealing with by setting different standard by FSSAI mandatory Bs, DMI voluntary. The acts and the policy which is being governed by the Forum of FSSAI, FSS Act 2006 rules and regulations. And finally, it's reinforcement and surveillance by the state and UT governments. So this specific food regulatory system has some kind of vision and mission for the long-term goal, is to create the food safety regulatory monitoring system built on stakeholder participation, which encourages self-compliances and enable informed decision-making to secure safe and nutritious food for every citizen in India. The basic mission is to achieve the excellence in the formulation of the food safety standards based on the modern science and to regulate the food sector in a responsive, efficient, and effective manner. Now let's talk about the salient feature of this particular FSSAI Act. It deals with the movement from the multi-level to the multi-department control to a single line of command. FSSAI has a single reference point for all matters related to the food safety and standards, regulations, and enforcement. integrated response to strategy issues like novel food, health food, nutraceuticals, genetically modified foods, and international trade, etc. The achieve high degree of consumer confidence is in the quality and safety of the food assurance involved. Enforcement of the legislation by the state government and UTs through the State Commissioner for Food Safety and his officers and Panchayati Raj and municipal bodies are also got involved over here. The consistency between the domestic and the international food policy, which measures without reducing the safeguards to public health and consumer protection, adequate information, dissemination on food to enable consumer to make informed choices, even compounding and adjudication of the cases to reduce the court's workload and expedite the disposal of cases, graded penalty depending upon the gravity of the offenses. So these are the basic food ingredients which are involved or which are being associated within the Food Safety and the Standard Act 2006, which includes vegetable oil products, edible oil packaging, tools, meat food products, solvent extracted oil, fruit products, milk and dairy products, prevention of this food adulteration, and also any other order under the Essential Commodity Act 1955 related to the food constituents. This is the major point where I would like to focus as a microbiologist. So what are the basic roles which are being played by the microbiologist on the food safety mission? Microbiologists play a vital role in the food industry, especially in controlling the quality of food products. The job responsibilities of a microbiologist, which includes number one, that is the routine quality control. So routine quality control is the regular monitoring of the raw materials and process intermediates as well as the finished product in terms of microbiological quality. Secondly, the risk analysis and assessment, communication and management. Any substances, action, method or methodologies that increases the probability of adverse effect on the health of the consumers or lead to the food hazards are termed as risk. The role is to manage the process through the scientific intervention is one of the major job related of the microbiological work in the food industry via the proper analysis and critical control point tools, that is so-called HACCP toolkits. Environmental monitoring is also very important role play by the microbiologist that actually monitor the environmental hazard of the storage area, production area, instruments, packaging area, etc., which are being referred and carried out to determine the microbial load adhering to the policy and regulation guidelines. Food hygiene, the role of the microbiologist also over here is to include the maintenance of all conditions and necessary measures to ensure the safety and suitability of the food at all stages of the food production and supply, commonly referred to as the food hygiene. Food inception, surveillance, quality management system, QMS, food regulatory compliances. These are also very important segment where microbiologist plays a very important role to maintain the food safety and its quality assurance. Now, as a take-home notes, I would like to recommend 3 individual segments which are actually controlling the food safety mission regulatory mechanism. Number one, that we need to improve or ameliorate the public awareness. To improve the public awareness, we need to organize time to time different food safety campaign. And when we can able to do above all these two, we can able to find out the correct public and consumer feedback, which is also plays very important. So if we can maintain these 3 triads like public awareness, food safety campaign, public or consumer feedback, then and only then we can able to achieve or we can fully make functional the food safety mission regulatory mechanism in proper way in near future. So these are the references for further reading for the audiences from where I have taken diverse ranges of informations to prepare my presentation. Finally, I would like to acknowledge my Microbial Engineering and Algal Biotechnology group, my MSc Research Project trainee, my PhD scholars, who give me a great opportunity and help and support to make this deliberation possible. And I would like to also thank JIS University and JIS Group of Educational Initiative for the constant support to carry out this kind of participation. And I would like to also thank Youth Leadership Submit for giving me this opportunity and platform to provide and to share my experiences to the general audiences. Thank you very much for your attention.